Well, okay, so I guess you'll give me the cue as to when to begin, huh?
Yep, so I will start off with an introduction, and I can actually start right about now. So, thank you everyone
Okay.
for joining us on our last session of the last day of National Blind Sports Week presented by Healthy Vision Association. We have saved such a fun and exciting presentation for last, and I am so delighted to be able to introduce all of you to the Director of U.S. Chapter Development at Achilles International, Eleanor Cox. She will be sharing with us today a little bit about the organization and the sport of running for blind and low vision athletes. So, as always, if you have any questions for Eleanor about Achilles or about the sport of running, how to become a guide, any questions at all, please feel free to pose those in the Zoom session or in the Facebook Q&A, and I will be able to ask her those at the end. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Eleanor.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you this evening. Achilles International is a nonprofit organization that enables people with any kind of disability to participate in mainstream running events and triathlons. We have about 65 locations and members throughout the world, chapters and members throughout the world, 26 chapters in the United States at present, and we're looking to onboard 2 more in the coming months. What we do at Achilles is very kind of natural and organic in a way. What chapters do is we get together and we team a person with a disability with a person without a disability. We call the people with disabilities athletes. We call the people with who do not have the disability volunteer guides. So all of this, all the language and the nomenclature that goes along with this, some organizations call it one thing, we call it another thing. It's the same, so a visually impaired person needs to be guided. And you would go to your local chapter, and there would be people there who just enjoy running and they want to share their love of running with you. There are many different ways of becoming familiar with running. The people who are volunteers need to be open to asking you questions, asking you what are your preferences, what is your experience as a blind athlete or a blind runner. If you don't have any experience, it's pretty much everything is to be discovered at that point in time. And that is, it's a great adventure. If you have experience, you would be able to tell us what it is that you're looking for. Do you want to be pushed? Do you have a certain goal that you'd like to meet within a certain time frame? And Achilles can suggest a certain person who would be appropriate for you. The other thing, the nice thing about being involved in an Achilles chapter when you're new to running is that you get to kind of sample a lot of different guides. Not everybody is a perfect match for another person, so it's the kind of the wisdom of the group. And I can assure you that within the group, you will find a lot of fun, a lot of good friends, and just build your confidence and your enthusiasm for life itself. That's what I found at Achilles, and I would hope that others are also finding that. What else do I need to say here at this point in time?
Ellie,
Let's see.
I can jump in
Yeah.
with a couple questions if you have a second. Perfect.
Yes.
So how did you specifically get involved with Achilles International, first on a club level and then on the, larger scale operations?
That in itself will take a full half hour. But it is a special story. It is a special story. And it's a personal story, but I would be pleased to share it with you. In 1994, I was depressed, and I needed to divorce at the time my then marathoner husband. And kind of in a last-ditch effort to have something in common with him, I took up running because that's what he did. And I thought, well, then this will patch us up. It did not do anything for our relationship, but as I, kind of went down the rabbit hole of understanding that our relationship was dying, I did retain this one piece of information, which was after a run, I felt a lot better. So it kind of was just in the back of my mind as I came to understand that I had to do something that was going to be very, very difficult, that friends and family were not encouraging me to do what I needed to do. So I was very much alone in that particular thing, which is, it's a heavy thing to carry with you. So one Saturday morning, I woke up, looked around, I was alone. I saw a couple of things in the apartment that made me think that he was definitely cheating on me. So once again, I was, confirmed with what I needed to do. And I put on my running shoes and my running outfit, and I wandered up to 90th Street and Fifth Avenue in Central Park, which is where the New York City chapter of Achilles meets every Saturday. And I caught them just when kind of the crowd was building. Pre-COVID, one of the nice things about being in New York City was that you could just be in a crowd or near a crowd and nobody thought anything of it. You just stood there. So I did. And I was just looking at these people, they looked happy. They were laughing and talking trash with each other and just having a really good time. They then kind of did like a group stretch, which I took part in. And then they started to go away. I now came to understand they were like teaming up and going off. So they would be in pairs of 2, maybe 3. And the very popular athletes would have like an entourage of 5 to 10 people with them. And I just stood there because I didn't know anyone. And I didn't even know that I wanted to know anyone. I was just kind of a little bit lost. And I saw a blind man on the far side of Park Drive, waiting for assistance to cross the road. And someone ran across to get him. At the same time, there was no one left to guide him. And the gentleman who was in charge of that practice session pointed at me and he said, "Do you run?" Just like that, like, you. Do you run? And I said, "A little," and he said, "Take him for 4." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I quickly learned, like, this is a tether. This is a loop. You're going to come back here. Don't worry about it. Bye-bye. And off I went. And he was a little faster than me. So that's a disadvantage. That's one of the things you need to know. And people call out in New York in the park, they say, "Go Achilles." And I thought you had to like say, "Yeah, okay, hi, how are you?" And you just, if the guy you're running with is running, you run with him and just keep your eye on him. But at one point I reached out and said hi, and he I ran him into a curb, and I thought I was in trouble. I didn't know what was, I thought, oh my God, I kept apologizing to him for about a mile. I kept saying how sorry I was and is he okay? And he finally stopped and faced me and kind of like he let me have it, you know. He was bored. He did not want to hear my apologies anymore. And he said, "Did you see my move?" And I said, "I don't know." And he said, "I stumbled, but I did not fall. You gave me the opportunity to use my move I learned in jiu-jitsu this week." And I said, "Oh, well, you're welcome." He was thanking me for running him into a curb. Yeah, it's what you gotta love about Achilles, okay? It's and that was a life lesson for me in my situation, that the next 2 miles, I just internalized that, and that then became part of who I was. It was all the way you couch it. It's all the way you look at it. It's just a matter of perspective. So I'm thinking, I can get a divorce. My husband was allergic to many foods. I'm like, I could eat garlic again. That's going to be amazing. And a number of things, the little things that make you happy. So at the end of 4 miles, I was no longer depressed. And I had a good story to tell my coworkers come Monday, and my family for that matter. And I wanted to come back the following Saturday. At the time, I didn't even know that they also work out on Tuesday nights in Central Park. Had I known that, I might have, also come back. And then I had a very long career in all kinds of publishing. Finally, my last job was with HarperCollins as their website manager. And I was let go in 2008 when, we had just had that the financial crisis, and my being terminated happened at the same time. And I had never, during the course of my career, I never finished college. And so without a college degree, I was not even going to get an interview during those years. So I went back to school to finish my degree. So I was an undergrad, and I could take advantage of the federal work-study program. So I'm 52 years old, and I'm an undergrad. And so I went to Achilles and I said, these are my skills, and you can basically have me for like, I don't know, $15 an hour for a top dollar, I think I could do 25 hours a week. And so they said, yeah, come on in. It was just what they needed, actually. They needed a new website. They needed search engine optimization. They needed a lot of things that I had been doing for years. And so we started off as like a part-time, federal funded kind of a thing. We were kind of dating, but we weren't married yet. We weren't even engaged. We did that for about 2 years. And then I got my degree. And at that point in time, they offered to hire me full time. And yeah. And just, it was our CEO, it was his way of managing to kind of say, see what you can do. I'd say, well, what's my job going to be? See what you can do. So I did search engine optimization for the new website that was being built at that time. And then I moved on to membership. And as a natural kind of, progression, members then lead to chapters. And so having someone in charge of US chapter development seemed to be, kind of part and parcel of, what I was doing anyway. And hopefully the organization would grow. So that's what I'm doing now, and loving it, really. I work with wonderful people, and the positive, if there's a positive to be had with Corona, and I know that there's many positives, but one of the silver linings for me has been that I can visit with any of the chapters via Zoom, because most of the chapters are meeting online now. And I therefore get to know people and know who it is that I'm actually working to help. And that's been a very rewarding experience for me.
That is definitely an
Yeah,
amazing.
so that's the long answer to that story.
Well, that is a great story. And I kind of want to actually touch on, it seems like you went from kind of almost being lost, and then with Achilles, you were found. And I'm sure that is the case with a lot of your athletes. And like you started to mention with COVID, I know things have gotten so difficult and a lot of people have felt really lost. So, what exactly is Achilles doing in the virtual space to kind of help continue that lost and found part of Achilles?
Yeah. So we are doing virtual workouts that are videotaped and then posted to our website and to YouTube. So you don't have to be there when it's live, being, a lot of them are very early at like 8 a.m. So that's going on. Our Hope and Possibility was an amazing success considering, where we were, and it was virtual. But people had been so longing for something to look forward to that it was so exciting to receive a bib in the mail. People were like posting their bibs and saying like, look at this, it came in the mail today. And I'm like, it's a bib, what's up? Grown people were excited about like small things. And because of that, and because of the fact that we can't get together, that we have to stay apart to stay together, we also recently announced the Achilles Cup. And this is it's a friendly competition between organizations, between companies. Anybody who wants to form a team can form a team and invite their friends and family members or their colleagues to join. Athletes with disabilities, it's completely free. You can sign up. There are prizes for biggest team, prizes for the most distance covered. And the cool thing about this is that any kind of activity equals points. So it's a point system. So 1 mile of running is 1 point. 3 miles of bicycling is 1 point. 20 minutes of strenuous cardio is 1 point. I think 20 minutes on the elliptical equals 1 point. 15 minutes of swimming is 1 point. So there's this whole point system. And it is the honor system. So, everyone needs to just lighten up and be honest. And registration is open now. So you can form your own team. I'll give you an insider tip. The international chapters are kicking our United States butts, and we need to step up. Okay, they've got like over 20 people on their team. So if you're thinking of going that way, and it's not going to work, you need to get a big team get together to go for the largest team. But if you have 10 enthusiastic people who really want to get out there and do it, you could go for the biggest distance or the most funds raised. There's going to be a prize for that. So we're still having fun. We're still connecting. We're still trying. We're staying engaged. another big thing that's come out of this is we realize like social media is so important. And so we're doing what we call athlete spotlights. So every Monday, we're going to feature a particular athlete and ask people to, what kind of questions would you like this person to answer? And so you can enter your questions into Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, and then on Friday, you will see the interview with the person. Because the interview will probably be held on Wednesday, then we do a little editing, it'll be posted on Friday. And in that way, you get to know these wonderful people as I've been getting to know them. And I am sure that this stuff is just gonna, you're kind of gonna look for it. You're gonna look for it, I'm sure.
So with the Achilles Cup, if people wanted to get involved and wanted to join a Achilles chapter, where would they go, or how would they find out what chapters are near them?
Okay, so there is a page on our website that is chapters. There's one of the navigation elements is chapters. Under that is national chapters and international chapters. So you can scroll through those. The US is divvied up into states and then cities. International is divvied up in alphabetical order by country. And that has nothing to do with the Achilles Cup, really. That is just, where there are chapters that they could join. If they look through that list and they're not near a chapter, I would still encourage them to sign up. We have one of the nav elements is join us. And so it says become a volunteer or become an athlete. Fill out the intake form there. And as we see like where people are coming from, we can kind of make connections within our database and say, there's 10 people in Albuquerque, New Mexico, who want to have a chapter. And there's 5 people who are, able-bodied volunteers ready to make it happen, also in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And so that is somewhere where you'd want to go there and help them figure it out and raise them up.
Perfect. Well,
yeah, but that's not the Achilles Cup. That's the that's how you would join Achilles. The Achilles Cup, it could be anybody. Your company could have one too.
Absolutely. Well, I hope everyone listening checks out Achilles International, has enjoyed this presentation tonight, and will get involved in the Achilles Cup. So thank you so much, Eleanor, for spending some time with us this evening and sharing with us about Achilles.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And for everyone else listening, thank you for hanging out with us for our last session of National Blind Sports Week. And thank you for hanging out with us for all of National Blind Sports Week. But the week is not over. Tomorrow is National Blind Sports Day. And we want every single person to get out, get active, and celebrate National Blind Sports Day. And when you celebrate, get on social media, post a picture, post a status, post a memory, and tag USABA with the hashtag Blind Sports Week to let us know how you're getting active. Everyone have a great night and enjoy National Blind Sports Day.